Most people that start their home search here on the Emerald Coast start in Destin, Pensacola, or Panama City Beach. But I'm going to tell you today why Navarre might be the better choice. Locals know this is where you get more community, better bang for your buck, and it's still close to so much. So today we're going to show you guys this home, and we're going to talk about everything there is to do with Navarre. Homes, schools, prices, cost of living, everything you need to know to see if Holley by the Sea is for you. And we're even going to check out some of the amenities because there are too many to list in this small HOA, and it's only $565 per year. That's right. All right, take a look at this bad boy. We got hardy board on the outside. This is brand new construction. You've got no neighbors here on your left side, which I really like, although that won't be permanent. I guarantee that in the next 10 years, that's going to get eaten up and you're gonna have somebody just like this. Now, it's brand new construction, hardy board. I love that, especially here in the Navarre area because we do have termites and this is termite proof. It's a composite. They don't like it, they don't eat it. You still have to worry about it and some of the soffits and stuff like that, but very minor. Termites aren't really that big of a thing as long as you you watch out for it. And I keep a termite bond on all of my stuff. So I like this entryway. We're going to show you guys the house first, and then we're going to go into some of the cool things that this neighborhood has to offer, how close it is to things, like I said, schools, crime, all the things you need to know, average prices, stuff like that. So very open floor plan. I like this. I love this though. Look at this flooring. That is wood look tile. That's not cheap, and it's not something you generally find in a in a home of this price, which is really good. So we've got a coat closet right here, right as you walk in for all of those. Oh, geez, the battery in this thing is rough. All right, but for all of the coats, for the long winter week that we have here in Florida, open floor plan. I like this. I love this style that they're starting to do, where they're changing this. I mean, it's been going on for a couple of years, but I really dig it. They changed the color of the island to make it blue. I love the extra space here. Got a couple of spots for some seats. That's definitely cool. So sort of the hub of the home here, right? So you've got all of the actions happening here or right here in the living space. We'll show you the backyard here in a second, excuse me. Let's start going this direction first. Got a couple of spare bedrooms, nothing too crazy. We do have, the running boards, floorboards all around, which I like. It's a little bit taller than a lot of them, which is kind of the new style with the construction. Jeez, that thing is rough. Where is that? Is it this guy? You guys hear that? I don't know if it's coming through on the mic, but it's sounding rough. All right, we got another closet right here, another bedroom right here, and then the first bathroom. This is a 3-2. I'll give credit here in just a second to Miss Sarah. I need to make sure I go outside and say her brokerage right, because we do like to give credit to our folks that let us see their homes. But of course I didn't look at it before I walked out, so, and I can't remember what company she's with. You know what? I'm just gonna wait on that one for just a second. Got a 2-car garage, very common here in Holley by the Sea. Holley by the Sea is the largest neighborhood here in Navarre by a landslide. And it is one of the few that has a ton of amenities. I love the water heater out here. That's always a good thing. A lot of people don't like that, but I like it in case it leaks. It's out here in the garage. It's not going to ruin all of your stuff unless you've got something, something here in the garage, but that'd be kind of strange. We got tall ceilings. This is a wide 2-car garage, so you've got a little bit of space on each side here, which is nice. You got your attic pull down, which I never pull down. If you guys go to pull those down during home showings or something, you call us, which by the way you can. All of my information will pop up on the screen. If you're looking to purchase anywhere on the Emerald Coast, we can help you. You can call, text, email, all that good stuff. But if you're gonna be home showing and you wanna pop one of those things open, please talk to your realtor first or whoever you're with, if you're with a home inspector or something like that. I've seen it come down a little bit too quick. I saw it pop a dude in the face one time after I had told him to be careful with it. Before he even touched it. So anyway, just be careful. You don't want to get popped in the face there. We'll continue this house tour and then we'll go over all the stuff. So this is actually your pantry, all right? So I just want to kind of, we got to back up. I got to watch my head because that's going to, hit me. I already ran into it once. So you will have to step out of the kitchen to go into the pantry. Not my favorite, but I love how big it is, which totally makes up for it. I'm so down for that. Let's see if these are soft close. Oh, they are. Oh, they didn't. They spared no expense. This is an average price point here in Holley by the Sea, by the way. I'll get you all of that details here in a second. I want to finish up this tour, and we'll kind of talk about some of that stuff. All right, we've got the laundry room. Spacious. You've still got the tape on it. It is new construction, so you'll see, you know, little minor things here and there. And then the master. Now the light in here is just a little bit dim. On the camera, it's a little bit brighter than it looks on the camera in person. You do have a door to the outside. Some people love this. Some people are not a big fan of having a door to the master to the outside. I think it's perfectly fine. I've got French doors in mine. And yeah, this is it. We've got a finished ceiling, so it's not quite popcorn, sort of a, I don't know, like a heavy eggshell or something, I think is what it's technically called. You know, call me to help you buy a house. I'm not gonna know all the nomenclature for stuff, but check out this bathroom, guys. All right, first off, these mirrors, super cool. I'm really digging the round mirrors. When I first looked at it online, I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, but I'm digging it. Got the dual vanities, plenty of storage here for all your makeup and stuff, ladies. But more importantly, look at this thing. Like, oh, you think it's done? No, it keeps going. There's so much room in here. This is awesome. It's already got the wire racks and things like that. You can really make this your own if you wanted to. And then, of course, we've got the commode, which I generally shut before we start shooting, but apparently I didn't. And check this out. This is my favorite. You guys know, if you've been watching me for any decent amount of time, you know I love a good shower with 2 shower heads. And yes, you guessed it, we've got one right here that you can actually get to without having to step into the water. I like that. And then, what? We got another one. Now you are gonna have to get wet before you get that one. And then of course, we've got a little spot for your shampoos and stuff. And I'm 6'2", plenty of room in here. Definitely under the shower even, which is always something I've got to look for. It's kind of a taller gentleman, you know, so I dig it, I dig it. All right, let's go ahead and take a look outside, and then we've got some stuff to talk about. Let me go into this little linen closet real quick. And then we'll talk about all the details of this property, and we'll set the camera up somewhere, and we'll kind of chit chat about the neighborhood, about cost of living. We'll talk about crime, we'll talk about the schools here in the area, talk about what life is like living here in Holley by the Sea, and then all of the crazy amenities they have here. They have 2 waterfront things, okay? And remember what I said earlier? $565 a month. That's it. That is absolutely, a year, not a month, a year. $565 a year for all the amenities we're about to talk about. I'm probably gonna say that like 10 more times because it's one of the best bargains on the entire Emerald Coast. I've seen obviously a ton of neighborhoods. We do everything from Pensacola to Panama City Beach. And for $500, well, a little over $500 a month, or a year now, geez, I'm gonna mess that up and say that like 5 more times. But anyway, let's get back to this. So it is not fenced right now. It is new construction. You may be able to negotiate with them a little bit on that. A lot of new construction has set prices with incentives and things like that. I'm not sure what they're offering on this one quite yet, or what they're offering right now. But if you are curious about it, simply give us a call. We'll find out for you. A lot of these incentives on new builds, they change pretty consistently on a week-by-week basis. So that's why we almost never tell you guys exactly what the incentives are. But a lot of times they are lower interest rates, or they'll put up fences for you, they'll put appliance packages for you. There's a ton of stuff that new construction does right now. Sort of a golden hour for buyers right now, because builders are still trying to unload their inventory at a decent level while sales are a little bit down. So with that, they pass on that savings to you. And with a lot of them, they own the mortgage company, the title company, and they could save a little bit on their real estate professional because they're feeding them the whole time. And that generally means that they can pay down your rate for you, give you lots of incentives, gives you lots of reasons to buy the home. So this is the side right here. I like the AC's elevated. That's good for insurance. Whenever they're looking at this, by the way, for insurance purposes, They're looking for the lowest elevation for the main appliances. So this and the water heater inside primarily. Looks like a well also, which is kind of cool. I didn't see any sprinklers though. I have to keep my eye out for some sprinklers. Let's pop on inside. Let's talk about what this neighborhood has to offer and what you're missing out on if you don't end up living here in Holley by the Sea. Got my coffee here. We're gonna head on inside, get in this air conditioning, even though it is October and it's only like 78 degrees, give or take. That's the beauty of living in Florida. It's warm for about 11 months out of the year. Then we get a month or two, realistically, of a little bit chilly stuff. But Holley by the Sea, largest neighborhood. Ooh, did not think this through. I'm holding my coffee on my arm. The largest neighborhood here in the Navarre area. Approximately 4,700 homes the last time I looked at the numbers. So let me set this up real quick and let's chat. All right, first off, big thank you to Sarah Johnson with Hometown Realty Partners. This is her listing. It's beautiful. She actually has another one for us, but we're gonna wait a couple weeks on it. It's also here in Navarre, so we like to mix it up with the different cities. You guys don't wanna miss that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you guys can see that one. It's another beautiful house here in Navarre. If that's something that interests you, if all the great things we talk about today interest you, definitely subscribe so you can see that. So let's get into it. One of the first things that most people look at when they're thinking about moving to a new area is the cost of living. So let's chat about that for a second. The biggest expense that you're generally gonna have when you move someplace is obviously the housing. So what do the houses look like around here? So the typical price range here in Holley by the Sea or Navarre in general, it's around the mid 350s to mid 500s. So 350 to 550 range. This one's smack dab in the center of what we would call average for the area, or median technically, at $440,000. Technically the median's 422 for 2025. If you're watching this in 2025, obviously it's gonna keep creeping up a little bit over the years. At least the next couple of years, that's what all the forecasts say, but about 420 is average. Now I know a lot of folks are coming from a rural area and that sounds very high, and then other folks are coming from a city and that sounds fairly reasonable. Let's talk about how close this is to everything. So this is on the west side of Holley by the Sea, on the west side of Navarre. So it's actually closer to Pensacola than it is to Destin. It's kind of right smack dab in the center. I mean, it's just a little bit closer to Pensacola, which is great because you're about 20 to 30 minutes away from either one. And of course, you don't have to go that far to go to a beach. Your nearest beach is less than 10 minutes away from right where I'm sitting right now. It's actually probably a little bit quicker than that, depending on traffic. We'll give it 10 minutes. Now, if you want to move down here, but you don't want to purchase right away, maybe you want to get to know the area, figure out which city here along the Emerald Coast is best. First, we got a whole YouTube channel on that. You can really dig in and learn. But second, if you wanted to rent first, the rent here in Navarre is going to range from $1,800 to $3,000 per month. The median being somewhere between $2,200 and $2,400 for a home similar to this. The big thing here is it's still affordable and it's still a coastal town. So as I mentioned, you got the beach just a few minutes away. You've got Eglin Air Force Base about 10 to 15 minutes away, Pensacola 20, 30, and Destin about 20, 30. And then of course you've got 98 running maybe half a mile away from us. 98 is the main road that heads east to west and west to east along the entire Emerald Coast. So what kind of community is Holley by the Sea? Holley by the Sea is very heavy with our military members. We do have two, actually, somewhere around 5 military installations within about 30 miles of us. There are two main ones that people might be wanting to live here for. That's Pensacola NAS, it's a Naval Air Station, and then Hurlburt Field, which is the Air Force Special Operations Command. That's where I was stationed back when I was military. And so this is a great spot. A lot of my friends lived here in Holley by the Sea when I was active duty. And some people are commuting from Pensacola NAS as well. You can also get to Eglin Air Force Base pretty quickly from here. You're gonna have to kind of go around Hurlburt Field and all through Fort Walton. So a lot of people that are on Eglin are either in Fort Walton Beach or Niceville. But Holley by the Sea in general is very family oriented. As you'll see when we talk about the amenities, start showing you all the great amenities. We're gonna show you a ton of stuff that the 48-acre amenity complex has. It's like a whole compound, I'm not even kidding. But it's very family friendly because of that. They've got pools over there, they've got a bunch of stuff. We'll talk about that here in a second. So it kind of helps foster that environment for families. Right here where Holley by the Sea is located, there is a shopping complex nearby. There's a Walmart, Publix, I think there's a neighborhood Walmart. I haven't actually been to that one. I guess it's like a smaller Walmart, but still has like a bunch of the stuff. I think it's just without the clothing and electronics and stuff. I think it's mainly grocery, if I'm understanding it right. But it is literally right down the road as well. And then, of course, you've got 98 there with all of the things that just go along 98. So depending on what you're looking for, they've probably got it here. Navarre is growing, it has been growing for over a decade. It used to be called Florida's best kept secret. It is now called Florida's most relaxing place because it's not a secret anymore. The secret is out. They found out that you can get to our beautiful turquoise waters, our powder white sand, the same as Destin, the same as 38, the exact same beach in every capacity. There's one small difference with the beach here in Navarre though, and that is shelling. Those of you that like to walk around, grab shells, shelling is very big out here. On one side of the pier, there's just more shells that kind of show up, but it's not a lot. It's not like you're gonna be stepping on shells constantly. You're still gonna get that powder white sand, but you're gonna get a little bit more of the shelling out here. And speaking of that pier, it is actually the longest pier here in the Gulf of Mexico. So you can actually walk out there, you can fish, you can pay, say it's like $1 or $2 to get out there. You can walk the whole length, beautiful views. You get all the way out there and you see the big waves crashing up and you look down, there's birds, there's herons and all this cool stuff as you're walking down the pier, which is awesome. And the views are absolutely incredible. Go there at sunset, take your little lady friend or take your boyfriend. It is incredible, or husband, wife, whatever. Take them, it's beautiful, it's a good time. All right, now I want to talk about some of the restaurants and other things that are around here as well. We've got a few kind of hidden gems that I really like. We've got the Slippery Mermaid right down the road, which is amazing sushi. In my personal opinion, I joke all the time that it takes a long time to get your food because I was there one time for like 50 minutes trying to get my food and there was nobody else in the place. It was a one-off, that's what we'll call it. It's like a running joke now, but it is totally worth the wait. I would wait there all day. Slippery Mermaid is incredible. And then of course, if you've ever been down here on vacation or visited here in the area, you probably know TC's. It's right across the street from the beach, or right across the street from the bridge that gets you to the beach. And it's got some great food as well. You've got Cactus Flower right down the road, which is like a California Mexican style food. Most of it I'm not a big fan of, but their burritos are incredible. And speaking of burritos, they've got Shark Bite right down the road as well. Shark Bite is a small food truck that does breakfast burritos, best in our area, hands down. If there's one place that I'm going on a cheat day, it's Shark Bite all day. Now, before we get into the schools, I want to talk to you guys about this 48-acre complex. There are two main areas here that are provided as amenities for the residents here in Holley by the Sea and Holley by the Sea only. And that's exactly why I'm not there right now showing you everything, because I don't have access, I don't live here, at least in this neighborhood. But when I say it's a complex, it is. Let me read off what they've got for you here. We'll be showing you a little bit of this as well. We've got 3 pools, some indoor and some outdoor. I think one of them's indoor and I think 2 of them's outdoor if I remember correctly, but again, throwing up the footage here. They've got a gym, and that gym has fitness classes. They've got tennis courts and now pickleball courts, which look relatively new. Some basketball courts, those look like they were paved recently as well, or repaved, I guess. Now, there are 2 different places that have water access. The first is on the main complex, that 48 acres that I was just telling you about. They've got a cool little gazebo out there. It's just a whole water feature, and that's right on the Sound. So the Sound is the area of water, if you're looking at the map, between the barrier island, Navarre Beach, if you will, and the mainland. And I know a lot of you guys know this, but I didn't for years when I first moved here, so I just want to make sure that I'm letting you guys know. That's called the Sound. It's a little less brackish. It's a little less salt water, if you will. It's dredged out, so you get these huge barges coming through. It's really cool to look at, and the water's a little bit more calm. This is great for your jet skis, your pontoon boats. There's some like smaller sandbars and islands you can go to, which is super cool, but they have access to that on the large complex side. Now, if you go to the bay side, you want to launch a boat, they've got you covered for that. For that $565 per year, I said it right that time, you can actually have your own boat launch, nice little wooded area. You park your boat when you're done, drop your boat in the water, head out, have a good day, come back in through the bay, nice and calm waters, nothing too crazy. But that is access you get just by living here and paying those HOA dues. Now, you want to know what one of the really cool things is too, is they have an entire RV section over there for your guests. So if you don't want them staying in your beautiful home, which by the way, this has plenty of room for an RV. But if you just wanted a few degrees of separation, send them on over to the Holley by the Sea area. You've got an RV campground there as well. There's parks. There's just a lot to do. There's a whole walking and running trail. And I'm sure I'm missing some stuff over there. That's the complex that you're getting access to for what, a little less than $50 a month. That's pretty incredible. All right, let's go ahead and get into the schools here in the area. So Holley Navarre Primary, Intermediate, and Middle School. We're gonna head outside because that beeping is driving me crazy. Oh, where'd I go? Where'd my notes? Intermediate, middle, and high school, they all rank well and above the national average and above the average for the state, which if you guys don't know, Florida, very high ranking when it comes to education, as I understand it. Now, both of these are from niche.com and greatschools.org. This isn't my opinion. I'm not allowed to give that as a licensed professional, but I can give you what the internet says, and they're saying niche.com and greatschools.org, well above bar. Holley Navarre is actually rated A-, and their big talking points are strong academics and sports. So if you've got kiddos, you want them to get some good learning in, they're in sports, stuff like that, this is a phenomenal area for your children. You know, it used to be that Navarre wasn't the name when you thought of great schools. It wasn't the one that you thought of. You thought of Niceville, you thought of the 30A area, North Santa Rosa Beach, stuff like that. But Navarre and Gulf Breeze in particular are just skyrocketing lately. It is becoming the new thing. And it used to be, well, that's why it's so expensive in Niceville, because Niceville's median price is quite a bit higher. Well, actually, it's not that much higher now. It's like $460, I think. We just did a video on this a week or so ago. So it's starting to creep up here in Navarre, which is a good thing. I've been telling people for a decade, hey, Navarre's up and coming. You're going to make a ton of money if you come in here, because these same houses, stuff like this, were in the 200s not that long ago, just, you know, a matter of 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I think a lot of that is because of the school system, because of how much it's grown and stuff like that. So they've got crime. Let's talk about this. Again, I have to go to third-party sites. I'm not allowed to give my opinion on that, which I always thought was a little bit nuts. They consider it steering in our industry because I'm a licensed real estate agent. I'm not allowed to give you my opinion on that. Isn't that weird? Like, I know these neighborhoods. I should be able to talk about it. I understand why they do it. You don't want people steering in different neighborhoods and stuff like that. I wish there was like a middle ground somewhere. But nonetheless, we got phenomenal tools here to go through. So according to niche and crimegrade.org, Navarre maintains a lower crime rate than the national average, especially for violent crime. And as always, I always encourage you guys to go out there and look at it. There's a ton of great sites out there. We got these from crimegrade.org and niche.com. Go check them. There's a ton of them out there, watchdogs, stuff like that. You can see, you know, sexual offenders. I don't remember what that website is off the top of my head, but there's a bunch out there. Anytime you look at those, it's going to scare you because you're going to look at them and be like, there's this many close to me. It's crazy. Not my favorite, but at least they put it out there. We talked about all the nearby conveniences. HOAs, we talked about that. If you are purchasing out here and for some reason, or any HOA for that matter, quick tip for you guys, get those HOA documents. Remember, here in the state of Florida, they're required. They're supposed to give them to you. And you don't have a right of rescission as you do like on a condo. Little tidbit for you guys, if you guys are buying a condo, you have a 3-day right of rescission, meaning you can get out for any reason for whatever's on there. But make sure that you're looking at that. Make sure you're looking it over. AI is a really good tool right now. If you're ever curious, you can drop it into AI and be like, hey, what do I need to know about this? Your agent's probably going to do the same thing. But we can read through that. We can let you know as well. We know these things like the back of our hands, especially with a big neighborhood like this. And then the walkability of this neighborhood. So Holley by the Sea is very walkable. However, I have to emphasize that there are not a lot of sidewalks here. There are some, but they're kind of scattered. In fact, if you look in the front of this property, let's go ahead and go out there as I'm walking, you'll see that there's no sidewalks. And another thing that's not my favorite, but they're slowly starting to fix, is the underground utilities. You can see here, they're above ground. It's just not my favorite. I really don't like that they did that for this area because it's pretty common out here. It's not just this neighborhood because we have hurricanes. Like, why wouldn't you just put them under the ground? Probably a price thing. But as you can see here, there's no sidewalk. But what's funny about, oops, let me flip this back around there. There we go. What's funny about that though is it's extremely walkable. I feel very, very safe. These roads are huge. Let me show you how wide these roads are, and this isn't even one of the wide ones. This is like one of the thinner roads, if you will, because they're building it out here, and it was done a little bit later, so they were a little bit more reasonable with these streets. But you can see my truck here. and like it's wide and there's nobody ever on it. Like, I mean, I could sit here and just hold this up. You can see all the way down there. Liberty goes on all the way to the other side. You'll see a car here and there, but because these houses are spread out enough, you're not getting a ton of foot traffic. It's I feel extremely safe walking around here. Obviously, walk around with caution, but I see kids out here all the time. It's very walkable. I don't see as many golf carts. It's not really a golf cart community here, although there are pockets inside of Holley by the Sea that are golf cart friendly, particularly the golf course area. So you see a lot more golf carts there, but you're not going to see them out here because they're not really street legal. You can technically do a low speed vehicle in LSV. You just don't see it that much, but very walkable. You're always seeing kids on their bikes, families walking around with the push strollers, stuff like that. All right, so I know I was talking about housing prices and cost of living earlier, but I didn't talk about food and gas and all of that good stuff. So let's chat about some of that now. So for 2025, this area, the Emerald Coast in general, it's not just this area, but this area in particular is 13% below the national average when it comes to cost of living. And we're sitting in Navarre. I would bet that number is even higher because, again, that's for the whole Emerald Coast area. Utilities average about $200, $250 a month. That's probably about what you'll expect with this. You might get a little bit lower because it is new construction. Hurricane impact rated windows, I think, just by the look of it. And by the way, just because I just said that, I just realized that they do have, the protection here for you. So it's either plywood boards that go right here, if you're ever curious what those are. It's either plywood boards or fabric shield generally. It's new construction. It may be fabric shield. I'll look at it and see if I can find it. But at the end of the day, 13% below the national average as far as cost of living. $250 a month on the heavier months or the warmer months, June, July, August. Expect your bills to go a little bit higher, so you've got to be comfortable with that. Because we all like our air conditioning. Now, when it comes to insurance and taxes, this is a big thing that I'm hearing a lot of fuss about online, on Reddit, and the different forums and things like that, that insurance here in Florida has gone through the roof. And we're just not seeing it here in this area. I don't know what part of Florida that is that they're seeing, but you can expect $2,500 to about $3,500 per year for insurance. Definitely higher than some areas, but we're also a mile away from the beach, right? Like, that's going to have a little bit of an effect. And then insurance, you can expect approximately 1% of the purchase price, and that's what you'll pay per year. Of course, Governor DeSantis right now is trying to get rid of that completely, which I think goes into a vote next year. So in 2026 at some point, we might not even have property taxes for homestead properties only. This wouldn't be for all properties, this would be for homestead. Now here in the state of Florida, we have homestead, and what that means is that you get a little bit of a break on your taxes when you move here and you become a resident, get your Florida driver's license, get your tags on your vehicle swapped over, register your address, all that good stuff, and they will homestead your property for you. You apply for it, and then it goes into effect, and it's going to lower your taxes. First of all, it's going to give you a little bit of a break, but the big thing that it's going to do, in my opinion, or the thing that I like the most, is that it's going to keep it from raising more than 3% in any given year while it's homesteaded. That makes a big deal, and this is why sometimes you guys will call us and you'll be asking questions about this, and you go, well, I'm looking at two properties at $400,000. One of them says the insurance is $3,500, and the next one is $2,700. Why such a big disparity? There's a couple of reasons for that. One of them could be the last time it was purchased or sold. That will change it. And then how long it's been homesteaded. If somebody's been living in it for 20 years and it's been homesteaded the whole time, typically their taxes are going to be lower. Please remember that if you're purchasing a house like that, the taxes are going to go up. If you're using us, don't worry about that. We calculate everything for you. We give you a full cost to own. You're going to know absolutely every dollar of where it's going within about $50 of what it ends up being at the closing table. And then that way you'll have an informed answer and you'll know whether or not you can afford a house like this, or any house for that matter. So how does Navarre compare to the cities next to it? Gulf Breeze, Mary Esther, Fort Walton Beach, and Destin. Well, it's cheaper than Gulf Breeze. It's a little bit more expensive than Fort Walton Beach, but you're getting a lot bigger of a house. When you go into Fort Walton Beach, you've got older homes. You can definitely find very, very affordable in both Fort Walton Beach and Mary Esther. They're kind of synonymous there. And, but they're going to be older, smaller plots of land. You're getting a lot more room. You're getting a lot more land. I mean, look at this. You're not getting this in Fort Walton consistently. It's a pretty good sized yard. It's bigger than my yard, and I'm out in the Fort Walton Beach area. So you get that as an added bonus, but you're going to pay a little bit more for it here than you would in Fort Walton Beach. And then in Destin, obviously a lot lower here in Navarre in Holley by the Sea. So that's kind of how it compares to everything around you. Gulf Breeze is also a very good area. I mean, Gulf Breeze is literally a football's throw away. I mean, it is so close from where we are right now. So you kind of get the Gulf Breeze stuff that you can do out there without actually having to pay the Gulf Breeze prices, which is kind of cool, right? But there's nothing wrong with Gulf Breeze prices. They probably skew maybe $20,000 higher than they do here in Navarre, so it's not that big of a difference. Who's Holley by the Sea for? If I had to put a demographic on it, again, not my opinion, just what I see on the interwebs and what they've cited is primarily military folks. We see a lot of them out here. Makes sense with all the bases nearby, how quick you can access them. And because it's family oriented, you got bigger plots of land, more things to do, more amenities, like all the stuff we said. So military family is going to be a big one. Retirees looking for, something a little bit slower as far as a way of life and things like that. People that work from home, also a great one because you get a lot of bang for your buck here. This is new construction, but if we look at resales, if you go back through some of our other videos, you can get these big houses for about the same price. It just won't be as nice. It won't be new construction. Won't have this nice hardy board, but definitely something you can get here. And then of course, the person that this is perfect for, the family that it's perfect for, is somebody that wants the coastal life without the coastal price tag that you see a lot out in Destin, Miramar, 30A, things like that. So if that sounds like you, it might be perfect for you. Give us a call, text, email, whatever you'd like. We do these videos every single week, Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you're not sure if this wasn't it for you, I'm gonna put a QR code right here, which we fixed, by the way. So if you're watching this and we apparently had it up and it was kind of like a video instead of an actual guide, the link is fixed now. It's right here. If you're watching on your TV, take a picture of it with your phone. It'll take you right to it. We're not going to bug you too much. We might reach out and just see if you need anything else, but that's it. We're not going to bombard you with stuff, but it'll be right here. Take a picture. And if you're watching on your phone, the link will be down in the description. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next week, Tuesday at 4 p.m. See ya.